Hi, if this is your first time here, welcome. To all others, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about how we can start carrying on family traditions and things that have come down through the generations from previous relatives. So, my question to you is, where are we going? Where are we going? Are we going anywhere? Are we moving forward? Where are we going? So, I am going to share some things today, and I want you to think about them as you go along this journey with me. So, one of the things I want to really think about is the fact that we are the ones. We are the ones that are going to be moving into the place where our previous relatives were. In other words, think about it for a minute. Over the years, when you were, say, childhood years, because we are still all young, as long as we are here, we are young and moving forward. But when you were younger, there were certain people that poured into you. And when I say poured into you, I'm referring to people that affirmed you, people that saw you for who you were, people that spoke to you as if you were a future adult, people that made you think, people that put something on your mind, people that made you think twice about doing something that may not have been in your best interest or even put your family in the best light. So that's what I mean about where are we going? In actuality, we are the ones. So as others that have gone before us, as they move along or they pass on, then who takes their place? Who takes their place? Who's the person that's going to keep up with relatives? Who's the person that's going to preserve some of the history within your own families? And this is something that we have to think about. Lots of things end up being lost over time because, for whatever reason, maybe we don't even have the information. We didn't maybe ask the right questions. We didn't get the information that we should have. And maybe you miss some of those things. Of course, most of us do. So, where are we going? We are the ones. Here is an idea. I'm going to share a few things that may encourage you to come up with ideas to carry on some type of memory, either for yourself or maybe for the generations to come. Okay? So, the first thing is preserving family recipes. Maybe over the years, you've had traditional meals that have been passed down, secret family recipes, or maybe you want to create a family cookbook with old and maybe even some new recipes. And so that's an idea, even including hosting family food nights where you decide that the elders can teach the younger generation. Now, that's a thought. In other words, there is a dialogue that takes place. The elder generation is sharing history, even through cooking, and the younger generation actually gleans from that. They are learning things that maybe they didn't know about the family, that strengthens their ability to understand that each person within the family has a place and that perhaps there are certain expectations from family members based upon the family lineage. So, family recipes, sharing that information through cooking is one way. Another way is celebrating cultural and religious traditions, and that includes holiday celebrations that past generations perhaps have done. And also, you can teach the children about meaningful customs and maybe different types of rituals that have taken place. And then there are also religious and cultural events that you can attend actually as a group. So maybe there's a community event in your area and you guys usually go to that event. Maybe it's time to continue that tradition, incorporate some of the younger family members and make sure they understand the importance of that particular event. And think about it. Also, incorporate asking them what their expectations are, and maybe even being sure to circle back to them to find out what they learned. Maybe they saw something different that may not have been seen before. So that's a thought. Creating cultural and religious traditions within that family. The third thing that I'm thinking of is recording and sharing family stories. And so that means interviewing some of the older relatives in the family and maybe even documenting their memories in terms of keeping track of what it is that they said or things that they did. And so, of course, we're in a digital age. It seems to be easier to record their thoughts. You can just pull out your phone and make that happen. And in the process, you can also think about how you can preserve that information, because preservation is going to be very important. Also, you create a family history book or a video where you go around and you're talking to different people about the family traditions as far as successes and lessons learned and things of that nature. And then you're sharing those stories in those family gatherings, and you're teaching the younger generation and some older ones maybe some things that they had even forgotten about, places that you guys have lived, and maybe just reflecting on how the family has progressed as they move to these different places, and including also maybe if you've lived out of state or where the family originally originated from. So just say you came from one area and then you moved to another area, you can talk about how that migration took place, and also you can talk about the reason for the move, the things that were expected once the move took place, and if those things were actually accomplished. And so that's another thing to just think about. We are talking about where we are going, and we are the ones. So the fourth thing that I want to talk about is continuing name traditions. And so you may decide that you're naming family members after elder relatives within the family. It may even include having the surname as a middle name, or just for some reason that the person in the family, just say for instance the name is Johnson, and so each person has that name. I've noticed that with some families that that name becomes the middle name. So just say for instance it is Jane Johnson and then her father's name. And then the next person it's going to be the same thing. So that's just one way to use the surname as the middle name. And then also you're sharing the meaning behind those names with the family members. Sometimes you're putting two names together to create a name. Sometimes people change their name. Culturally, they have decided to take on another name and they have actually completed a name change. So you could talk about that. And then number 5, we're going to focus on participating in hobbies and crafts related to your ancestry. And so what I mean by that is there may be a particular music that you guys like or listen to, and it has some type of meaning to it. And just say, for instance, there are certain songs that you've heard over the radio, and you can say, of course, I'm talking about the radio because we are the ones. We are that generation. And so we may have grown up listening to the radio, and we've heard certain songs that as soon as we hear that song, a certain memory or event comes to place, because that particular music is tied to that particular moment in time. And you can definitely share that. And so, of course, there are family dances or different things as far as our heritage that you can share. And, you want to keep alive certain traditions in terms of maybe someone sewed or someone has flair or a good skill with decorating. We want to preserve the lessons that were learned and the instructions that were given as far as what makes a centerpiece special, what makes certain colors pop, what particular item or product or unique particular thing is it that your family must have on the table or on the door during the holiday season? Or maybe it's an ornament on a tree. Maybe it's something at the doorway, whatever it is. Maybe there's a pendant that you all wear a particular color. All these are things, if it's embroidery or woodworking or some other type of quilting idea or skill set that somebody has, maybe that particular skill set or event or type of thing that happens a certain time of year can be preserved. And so we're just passing along these things to younger members and maybe just sharing. Younger members can also share. I'd like to add in ways to use the telephone. And when I say telephone, we say cell phone now, right? But I'm referring to younger generations can share with older generations simple things like working Wi Fi or cable or even working their phone so they can take pictures with their camera or they can share text messages. That way you guys can keep in touch during the week or share some information. Even if they don't text back, you at least could send a message to them and they learn how to do these things. So, number 6 is family heirlooms, such as old pictures or letters or different types of proclamations that maybe someone in your family has received. You want to preserve those types of things. We have various degrees and diplomas that mean something to us, or maybe you can just reflect upon you remember a particular day that somebody graduated and you have a picture, and maybe over time you may even have a video. And so do you see how you're building a way to preserve information and carry on traditions through that? That's exactly what the point is here. Where are we going? We are the ones to take the information. We are the ones to maintain some type of connection. And I understand that there are times that it doesn't always happen where you make an effort to initiate an effort with someone or to someone and it falls on deaf ears. They're not as receptive. They don't reciprocate. Those types of things do happen. And it may cause us to retract, as I know that it can be that way sometimes with some family members and with ourselves. And so I'm moving right along to number 7, and that is focusing on places to travel that are related to your particular family, whether it's just your immediate family. There's a place that you guys like to go, and you want to continue on by saying, every year we go to this particular place. It may be that you guys like to go to, some people have a certain place that they would like to go. I don't really want to call names, but they have bright lights, and it's a place that has no time where everything closes down. It's a 24-hour operation. And so these are places that people travel and they go to see these lights and these events and these attractions and entertainment and all of that. And so maybe you decide that every year you want to do that and talk about the different regions or whatever it is within your family. You might want to share these particular things. They're going to be unique, so it's going to be a challenge for me to pinpoint exactly what it is. But this information is just information. These are not particular situations where I'm providing advice. I'm just offering suggestions for ways to keep your individual family traditions going. And it may just be that you are starting with your own family, your own household. You are creating some type of memory. Number 8, you can host a regular family gathering where you are connecting with extended family members. Maybe you have aunts or uncles or grandparents or someone that might still be around, and you can have Sunday dinners or game nights or, celebrating anniversaries or birthdays. And anniversaries, do we really celebrate those as much as we should? Maybe we should incorporate doing that more often. And also, I'm going to move on to number 9, which is teaching the next generation. And so we're going to move into younger children because we may be sharing it through books, again, through particular activities, or even music. So for our younger generation, say maybe under 10 years old, you have a different set of books and music that is age appropriate for them with activities such as coloring, etc., that you can use to share stories with them as well. And you may even pair the elders with the younger generation, 10 or under, and they learn from the elders as well. So these are just ways that, again, we're just sharing how to teach the next generation. And so we're encouraging children to learn about family languages. If it's a different language that your family has learned over the years, you want to strengthen that, encourage them to learn the language because it may prove beneficial to them. It may have some other benefit. You can definitely share that as well. And then the 10th thing that I'm going to talk about is keeping a family tradition, an actual journal. And so you're writing down these moments and how people have evolved within the family. Maybe they started off in one position or industry and then they evolved into another, and how that particular evolution has changed the entire trajectory of the family because one person made a decision to do something. In reality, it has changed the entire family lineage. And so another thing is we can encourage the other generations to add their own updates and their own input in terms of how they would like to contribute or what they didn't know or what they would like to see. And that may be something very helpful. It may even be something that is very beneficial down the years as our elders continue to age. And so we're always looking at things that can be passed down for future generations to continue. And I just like to ask you to like, share, comment, subscribe. This video, I would hope, gave you some ideas to just find a way to carry on traditions within your own families. And maybe just like I said, your individual family, your own household, you may decide to create some new traditions. And so in closing, I'd like to say, which family traditions are most important to you? Or what ideas do you have and would like to implement within your own families? So I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and to take these suggestions, because that's what they are. This is not advice. These are just suggestions for you to come up with ways to keep in touch. So where are you going? Where are we going? We are the ones. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to view this presentation. And always remember, the sun is setting, but how far are you getting? Until next time, take care.